actually has a voice diaphragm. I did check that after the video today, and it does have a voice diaphragm in that bit. So again, you can't really see it with the mask on. If you hold it up to the light, you can see that there's a plastic disc inside that bit there. So if I get the comments up by doing the dashboard thing, 1 second, content, live, human live control room, and again, still can't get all the settings as I want them because they keep changing the things. Save, pop out chat. Now I'll go back to that white screen again, and then I can tab the chat up here. So hopefully, if anybody comes on, I can actually see the message there in a decent size font. So yeah, the only thing I don't really like with this mask is, like I said, the nose cup crushes my nose a bit. But it might be possible, you know, to actually have that not do that. I'm just working out as well if there's a particular way with this of getting some of the bits more comfortable than other bits. So if that makes sense. So just working out, is that nose cup more uncomfortable if I have the top strap tight or the top strap loose? I'm trying to work out which way it digs in more. I think it probably digs in more if it's loose. So if I tighten it up a bit, yeah, that's not as bad. But yeah, that top nose cup bit, you can probably see there sort of pushing into my brow a bit there. So if I personally was to modify this, I'd probably shave a tiny little bit of rubber off there. But other than that, this is quite comfortable. Decent like silicone in a face seal bit, so it makes a good cheek weld because you can see my facial fat kind of going around the side of it on my cheeks. When I tested it with the sort of Eddie Hall's sort of stuff earlier, that worked pretty well. Right, hopefully we get some people on, because like I said, the issue is that because I uploaded a video today, that sometimes fucks up live streams, because what ends up happening is YouTube does this thing where it basically goes, because you've done a video today, I'm not going to notify anybody you've done a live stream. So we'll see. Obviously, I'm not wearing a sort of 3M filters. If I was, they'd go on here. So the mask obviously isn't working as a gas mask now because I've just taken that off. But yeah, now it's, like I said, airtight again. Right, it says I've got 1 like and that there's 5 people on, so hopefully the chat shows some people in a minute. I'll make sure it's set to live chat on my screen as well, actually, that might help. Oh, there we go. L. Robert Wilson says, do you have any World War II gas masks? Yeah, quite a few. If you look through my videos on them, just look on my channel, you'll find quite a few, but I haven't got any handy in this room that I can just hold up and show you right now. There's one on top of the cabinet up there, but I won't be able to get up there and get it down conveniently on the screen. But yeah, I do have quite a few World War II gas masks. So yeah, just look across my channel on some of my older videos and you'll be able to see them. Quite a lot of British World War II masks, a couple of German World War II masks, a couple of American World War II masks, and Italian World War II masks. I've got one very sort of crusty Japanese mask that's in really bad condition, simply because of the fact that, you know, it's well past the date of what it would have actually survived well, and it's not been stored very well, because obviously whoever owned it before me probably just had it sat, you know, on the windowsill or a shelf somewhere, so it's totally dried out. So now that's one of those masks I don't really like to handle, because every time you sort of touch it or do anything with it, it's likely to sort of crumple apart even more. Yeah, like I was saying, this mask is sort of comfortable enough. It's got quite a bowly sort of, a bit like somebody said in the comments on the video, it's a bit like the lens on this one is quite similar to the sort of MCU 2P sort of thing. I can definitely see, if you looked at this frontally, it does look quite a lot like the Amasei Millennium or sort of MCU 2P, this mask. But as I said, it actually works fairly well, so, you know, I can't fault it for that reason. Right, it says there's 13 people on now, so hopefully they join in the chat. There's a bit of distortion there that you might be able to see with the lens shape, where but looking around the room, there isn't much. It doesn't, it's not one of those things where objects sort of, bend or appear closer or further away with this lens. It's quite well done. All right, Rajiv, hope you're all right. So yeah, overall, this mask is actually quite nice. There's nothing, with it that I'd obviously say is bad. Like I said, the only thing I don't particularly like is this nose cup. But that's just with my face in particular. As you can see, it's crushing into my brow a bit there. But other than that, yeah, it's quite comfortable. And like I said, this is, again, a very cheap mask for anybody that just wanted a working 40mm mask that was new. You can get these on AliExpress for about between £15 and £20, this particular mask. So what I'm going to do is keep this particular mask on for the entirety of the stream. But again, I might only do a 30-odd minute stream today just because of the fact, like I said, that did a video earlier and sometimes YouTube won't notify people about these properly. Oh yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. It probably helps YouTube maybe share my videos. I see 6 people have already liked it, which is good. But yeah. So, yeah, like I said, this mask isn't too bad. Out of the two, I definitely prefer this one. This one is more comfortable. But this one doesn't have a voice diaphragm. Because if I take that cover off, you'll be able to see here. It's only got the exhale valve and the intake valve on this one. That's all there is to it on the sort of design there. So yeah, there's nothing to this one that would actually amplify your voice in any way. So that's just a standard XLR. So yeah, if this had a voice diaphragm on this particular one, it'd be really good. It's definitely a more comfortable mask and everything. It's just, yeah, sadly doesn't have a voice diaphragm. Let's put that little cover back on there. When I did that earlier, you just put the top bit over. Is it the other bottom bit on top there? Yeah, there we go. But yeah, so while this mask is definitely more comfortable and I prefer it, it doesn't have the voice diaphragm, so if I was talking on stream, it wouldn't be as good. You'd have no idea what I was saying at all. Whereas this one, as I was saying, this bit here is the voice diaphragm, that bit there is the exhale valve. So you can see that bit moving when I breathe because that's the exhale valve. But that bit behind it there is the plasticky sort of voice diaphragm type bit, but you can't really see it unless you take the mask off and hold it up to the light. So yeah, there we go. So we'll see if anybody else comes on. That'd be nice. Otherwise, it will be a very short stream today if it doesn't notify people properly. But like I've said before, the problem is with YouTube streams is if you do a stream on the same day you've uploaded a video, it never sends out the notification properly. Can't look out with these straps as well if they're riding a bit too high on my head that way. I bet I am American. No, I am not American. Do I sound American? I am not a American. So you got that wrong, Rocket. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Notification works on that, Rajiv. But like I said, the problem just seems to be in general with it sending out notifications on YouTube. If it's the same day I've done a video and I do a stream in the same day, people only ever seem to get notified of one or the other. What, because I've had a load of Chinese stuff recently, Bourbon, it actually works. But yeah, you actually knew I was going to be on to look, didn't you? That's the thing. But yeah, like I've said before, there's lots of channels I'm not even subscribed to, and YouTube shoves them in my face. And then there's channels that, you know, like I actually watch their videos and I never know they're going to be on. Ivory State, hello. So you did not get notified of on the video. So what, did you get notified on the stream just now, but not the video? Because like I said, what is a bit sometimes annoying is I'll do a load of videos, say on gas masks, and then people go, "Oh, you haven't done a gas mask video in ages." It's like, no, you've just not been told I've uploaded them, and you've not manually checked. But yeah, like I said, it's really, really hit or miss for me. Where's the filters? Right there. Viking, can't you see the filter? It's there. Right there. That's a blanking plug on either side there. That's if you want to put 3M style filters on it. So I'm exposed to the air now, but obviously if I tighten it back up against the so yeah, that tighten up properly. Yeah, so this is so you can use it with different models of filters basically. So you take these off if you want to use it with the 3M filters. Yeah, I've got knives, but not anything interesting or special to hand. The most interesting thing, knife kind of related, although it's not a knife. Hang on, it's a bit hard to pull out the scabbard right here on the chair, is the saber. There you go. But yeah, so this is one, what the Chinese are doing on a lot of their modern masks, like the civilian industry ones now, is they put blanking plugs through all the ports, and then you can just choose what you want in it. So, yeah. Oh, thank you very much for my filters. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have got some 3M filters. So yeah, again, thank you very much, Abyss Janitor, for that. Cheers. I'll click like because it says I can click like on it. I have got 3M style filters. No, because the only thing is, Viking, if I was to buy something that would be potentially weird going through customs, then no. Polish FP6. So like an FP5, but you can probably see potentially on there that the bottom bit there is a bit different. And I think the filter medium is meant to be slightly better in the FP6 than the FP5. Probably, you know, it's got a bit more filter. Yeah, well, there's two things of it, Viking. There's obviously stuff you can't own in the UK anyway. But there's also stuff that, like, you know, even if it's legal, people in customs might get shitty over it. So I don't particularly like customs for that reason. Yeah, Abyss Janitor, I do have some proper 3M combination filters somewhere. I've got quite a lot of 3M just dust filters. But cheers, yeah. But like I said, any of the masks that you can dual use like these, I always wear with the 40mm on them, because like I said, if you can have the choice of how you do it, because like I said, you put a blanking plug in there. So again, it will start suffocating me in a minute, but yeah. So when you get these, they have a blanking plug on all the bits, and then you just wear them how you want them. But obviously, I just find it easier to use a standard proper 40mm military filter than worry about getting the 3M ones. Yep, there we go. Yeah, if you want to get one that's Brick Boy that fits the commie masks, you have to get a P5 filter, not the FP5. But the problem is, P5s are sometimes labelled as FP5s, but not the other way around. FP211 filters fit the commie masks as well. So yeah, rather than Foxtrot Papa 5, you just want the one called Papa 5 that Maskpol make. That's the commie ones, 40mm DOST. The 40mm NATO ones are the Foxtrot Papa 5s, and the Foxtrot Papa 6s like this one. That is not a German World War I gas mask, Joshua. The Germans would have stupidly advanced gas masks for World War I if they had something like this. German World War I gas masks. Yeah, P5, yeah, Papa 5. So FP211 or P5s. because P5 are 40mm GOST, the FP5 is 40mm NATO. And the reason I was really confused to start with, and I thought the FP5s worked on both masks, was because there was a massive batch of FP5s originally that were 40mm GOST ones, but they'd labelled them FP5, not P5. I really like the look brick boy of what's it, the MP6, but again, I've never seen any versions of the MP6 at all on the surplus market. Because I'd love an MP6, but again, I've never seen one on the surplus market at all. Now, what I am wondering with this mask is, where I've got the C50 over there, I'm wondering if this mask is one of the ones where the Avon C50 filters will work or not. Oh, wow, that's not good. Look, have I broken this mask? Or no, that's actually got a connector on there. Look. Okay, let's take the mask off and work out what I've done. So apparently on this mask, there is. Let's undo all the straps and have a look. There's obviously a sort of connector port there, look, with an O-ring around it. So I've managed to take that off, look, with the bloody filter itself. So let's unscrew the filter. So yeah, that has got another 3M style connector, look on there. That's kind of interesting. So that's not snapped off. That's literally just come out, look, because yeah, it's got... So that is kind of a flaw in it. Not like as in you're going to snap it off, but you could accidentally take the filter port out with the mask. There we go. That's reconnected again, and that's properly connected. Yeah, because if the filter was quite tight in there, you might put quite a bit of force on the filter, and then it would take that little filter port off with it. So yeah, like the 3M, this essentially has the same connector as the 3M. So I wonder technically if this is like a 3M to let's see if it works on the other ports. Hang on, I can get it back out. No, it's quite hard to get out there, so while it's connected properly, I'm not going to risk pulling that off. Yeah, I like German World War I masks, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Because I wonder with this if it's one where they potentially reseat that in different areas of the mask. Because looking at those 3M style filter connectors, I don't think... Yeah, those are more like welded onto the mask with like plastic weld. So I assume it's because with these ones, they've sort of done the weird combination of two masks thing. But yeah, so what I was going to try anyway, before that happened, was to see if this is one of the masks a C50 filter fits on all right. And it looks like it does, because it looks like that isn't going to actually bump into the way of the mask. So it doesn't actually make it any more compact at all. Just get that annoying bit seated on my face properly. Yeah, that's still pressurizing. As much as I can do it with this filter. Have I done that again? Yeah, I might actually have to get some like plastic glue and glue this in, because this is going to be a bit annoying if you ever have to take the filter off the mask in like an emergency. Look at this. Because yeah, it's got proper rubber rings around it, so it does make like a gas tight seal to the mask. But yeah, that is a fucking weird design choice how they've done that. So yeah, like I said, I definitely think that other Chinese mask is a much more solid, better mask than this one. But again, this is cheap. But I like the Shum 41 a lot. Anyway, let's get this off again, and I'll refit this, and then I'll just stick a regular filter on it, so the mask doesn't need to take it off to refit that. So yeah, that would be the flaw I found for actually playing about with this on the stream. Then look, is this connector here that like I said, is fine in the sense that it will it's not snapping off, so it's going to reconnect to the mask when I get the angle right. If I get the teeth lined up, wherever that was. Is it that angle? Yeah, I think that, like that, yeah. So that will retighten to the mask and make an airtight seal again. And I'll test the filter in a second again to check it is actually airtight. But yeah, that does seem a bit of a flaw, that this bit can twist off easily. Because like I said, all it needs is a filter that's made of good. Because once you've screwed a filter in fairly tight into the thread, obviously sometimes if you start twisting it, because it twists that way, look, when you start twisting the filter, look, that starts moving with the filter. So yeah, that is a bit of a design flaw now. So, you know, what you get, find out of playing about with things on the stream as opposed to, you know, doing it normally. So yeah, you'd have to technically grip there to, yeah, so I assume this mask, I'm just going to leave the filter on it. I'm assuming this is one they didn't think you'd be doing very common filter change. I would guess is my logic there. So like I said, it's interesting because I wouldn't have found... All right, Visa? But yeah, that's interesting because that's a flaw I wouldn't have found with the mask doing that initial video today, because it's one of the more you... Again, I might just get some rubber glue and that would probably sort that out. Because like I said, it's not actually broken, I don't think. As in, you know, I can retake that part on and off. But yeah, let's see if that is airtight still. Smell's getting in. Let me check if the mask's actually tight to my face, because it might be that, again, I need to tighten the straps a bit more, this mask. Probably need a shave as well, like that. I can smell the smelling salts a bit, but I don't think it's coming through the bit where the filter is. I think it's coming through the side again. So, let's see if I can just get that seated properly. So that's the unplug it direction, isn't it? Or is it? Because like I said, that's the funny sort of, don't know if I'd call it a flaw or whatever, but yeah, I would probably call it a flaw, because like I said, you're going to obviously unscrew that by accident at some point. So that's kind of interesting, because like I said, that's not something snapping off. That's obviously where it's designed so they can change the filter port in the factory or whatever when they're assembling masks. But the problem is, like I was saying, is that, yeah, I reckon that needs some rubber glue in there. Because I reckon now that might let a bit of air through there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Chinese masks do this, the civilian ones. Like on the sides, they've got obviously the 3M style things there with the blanking plugs, and those bits work absolutely fine. But like I say, and this has this weird thing where I'm assuming that originally didn't have a 40mm port there or whatever, and they've changed the design at some point. And therefore, they've come up with this weird design that is a bit flawed. Like I said, I reckon now that's the bit that, although I can't smell the smelling salts at all now. Alright, cool, the straps are out, but you fix it. So yeah, this is actually working again now, but yeah, what I would personally say with this mask is I would personally, like, when I'd probably take that off again, put some, like, rubber plastic glue around the bit, and then twist it in and then leave it. So, you know, that, because I don't know if there was just a tiny bit of plastic glue on that originally, but yeah, obviously, like I was saying, that's a bit that, yeah, just basically the filter port itself just twists around in there, and because it's got an O-ring, it's not going to leak. But yeah, it's a weird design, like we're saying, where it, yeah, in the right position, it will come out, because obviously, yeah, how it works, look, is it just has the teeth on there, and then an O-ring. So what obviously happens is, it needs to be in the right position to actually connect with the mask. And then, yeah, it kind of connects where it looks like it's a good flush seal. But obviously that bit can come out potentially if it's not got glue on it. So, yeah, let's put the other Chinese mask on for a bit, even though it's not got a voice diaphragm on, so you won't be able to hear me. But like I said, this is a better mask anyway, this one. Where did I put that filter I was going to demonstrate this one with? Where did I put the bloody C50 filter? I had this oh, there. Doing. Right. Alright, let's see if this, because this C50 filter might not actually attach to this mask, because the C50 ridges might get in the way of the screw thread, like it does on some various ones. Because, yeah, this might actually not be properly tight, so we'll see. Because that's the problem with C50 filters, is they're designed to be compact with the C50, but that obviously means that, so yeah, you probably can't hear me very well now, unfortunately, because like I said, as much as I think this is a much better Chinese mask, and it's a lot more comfortable than the others, because again, even this nose cut's a lot more comfortable. Well, that is actually tight, that C50 filter. I wonder if the old Romanian filter I've got will actually, old Tommy Romanian filter will still work. Let's have a go. This is a Tommy Romanian filter that's probably not safe to breathe through, from 1977, so here we go. There we go, plug out the bottom. Am I doing that wrong? Didn't damage the plastic now, hopefully. No, that's still good. Right, so see if I can actually get that to line up well. Yeah, I think that's still pressurizing. And the ammonia is definitely not getting in. Yep, the filter's protecting me from the ammonia. So there we go. The old Tommy Romanian filter is still working to some extent. So yeah, like I said, you probably can't hear me very well at all because this mask's obviously not got a voice diaphragm, but it works pretty well. So yeah, and I called these fucking Mr. Beast smelling salts on the video, but I meant Beast Eddie Hall rather than fucking Mr. Beast. So there you go. They you know, they definitely work for testing gas masks because as soon as the fumes get in, you definitely know about it. Right, I'll be off fairly soon. If there's anything anybody wants to bring up that's interesting, do it now. Again, this one has the same 3M style thing, but just to show you what will happen, I'm dreading this. If I open this here. Yeah. Still something. Fucking laughter. Yeah. Right, Hunter, but yeah, like I said, these are very good for, probably this one, electronic guy, unless you're on about military ones. I'll take that off now so you can hear me a bit better before I finish the stream. But Yeah, I mean, obviously, a Honeywell panoramic mask would probably be a better choice, Alexander said. But yeah, this one, again, and I did a video on this, so you can try and find the thing from that. Because, again, this is one where the selling page didn't have the actual factory name of the mask listed, you know, and it was, I found the thing differently. That other one I did the video on today was all right, that Chinese mask. But like I said, I found that weird thing where how they connect the 40mm plug that needs gluing, really, to be safe to use, so you don't pull it apart in an emergency if you're using it. Chinese military masks, FMJ05s are alright if you get the export model that's not GOST. FMJ08, same, the non-GOST one. But yeah, I'm good, thank you, Hunter. But yeah, it, like I said, it just completely depends on you know, what particular mask you want. There's a lot of quite cool Chinese masks, but like I said, the issue is getting one that's you know, one that you can use NATO filters with. Right, we found a bit of a flaw with that other Chinese mask, but not like the sort of flaw you'd be expecting. What we found with this one is because the glue wasn't very strong here, it's not actually physically broken. But if you unscrew a filter and the filter's in tight, the filter port will unscrew slightly, and now it's not doing it because I'm trying to do it on camera. This bit can unscrew and then come out, and it's not going to do it now, is it? Hang on. Yeah, it's staying put now. It's typical. It is coming out slightly, but yeah, we found that because yeah, that's reattached now. But basically, because this bit wasn't glued in, it has its own kind of bayonet type thing there. So you know, this bit can there we go. The valve assembly. Yeah, but I'm talking about Hype Electronic Guy because he was asking about it. Yeah, that bit there. So that's not broken, but it has a weird bayonet valve assembly for. Yeah, probably. It's probably just a case that, yeah, they need to put shitloads of glue in there and they didn't do it. So what I'm going to do at some point is with this mask, because it's otherwise very good and it's got a proper O-ring there, is just put a load of rubber or plastic glue on there before next putting it in. So, you know, the filter, if the filter's a bit stuck. Yeah, it's probably got a load of different assembly versions in the factory, like we were saying. So, yeah, it's probably a case... although, I'm wondering now, I suppose it's a different kind of 3M connector, isn't it? So yeah, it's not going to go to 3M, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's too big, and the 3M connectors are too small. Yeah, so with that, yeah, what I need to do is just get some rubber glue, so or whatever, or plastic glue. So what I can do is the next time I go to put this in, I can get the angle right, twist it to do it up. If I can find the bloody alignment points now. Okay, I want it the trifoil way looking down to start putting it in, so kind of like that, I think. And then hopefully twist it to actually. Yeah, there we go. And twist it back into place so it's closed. But yeah, Bison liquid rubber. Let me have a look for that electronics guy before I forget. But yeah, basically get a good glue like that, put a load around there. And when I twist it and then put it back on, that way a filter's not going to remove the actual thing of the mask. Like I said, out of other Chinese masks, the other type I quite like is this one. Like I said, I've covered this one. I think I did it during COVID, but this one is pretty good. It's very, very similar in a way. It's just a panoramic sort of lens. They've got the 3M bits on it. This one I like as well because it's actually got the neck bit on it, so you can get those actually decently tight. So although for those strange harness where only the only adjustable, kind of real adjustable bits on this harness are actually the bottom jack. So this one, if I remember right, the only issue with it, as much as it's a very good face piece, is actually getting the sort of, yeah, bottom seal up good enough, but that's working now. So yeah, with this one you have to end up always doing the bottom straps up silly tight, just so but you could have probably replaced it with another Chinese 5-point head harness of the same design that just has straps on those bits, and then it would work fine. You know, would work better. But yeah, like I said, this one's quite a nice design as well. The bulb in this one is a bit more distorting than the other ones, so they have got better at that. But yeah, this, like the one we were saying, the Cyberpunk one, this one, just because it's got a really nice high quality 6-piece rubber head harness on this one, this is a lot more comfortable because it's got a good face piece, good soft silicone nose cup. You can actually just tell from looking at this one that it feels like nicer quality in terms of the rubber components on it. But yeah, let me go back to the chat. Right, so you were saying, sorry, right, 76. Have I tried Alyonka chocolate, the classic Soviet chocolate, with the baby on the label? I don't think I ever have. Let's see what. Let's Google it. Alyonka chocolate. That's kind of a creepy looking baby, but no, I've never tried that. No. Do they still make it then? Oh yeah, you can actually buy it in the UK from Russian food shop online, but it's out of stock. But yes, I've never tried that. Looks kind of interesting, but yeah, it is a creepy looking baby on the picture. Which particular mask, Rice Eater? The one I was saying was a good Chinese one, this one. I did a video on it the other day. For some reason, I decided to put a communist Romanian filter on it, but they're actually 40mm NATO, not GOS, these filters anyway. The full face. There's several full face masks I've been showing just now. Yeah. I'll put it on again, hang on. Like I said, this one's actually got comfortable straps and everything. So, there you go, there's that one. It's not got the voice diaphragm though on this one. Yeah, the C50 is very, very nice. Like I said, I like the C50 a lot. Yeah, for one of these Chinese panoramic masks, oh, cheers, thank you very much. It'll be interesting to, yeah, try that. But yeah, like I said, out of the kind of Chinese, civilian style, just mass sold sort of masks, this is by far the best one I've tried so far. Just as like I was saying, because the rubber quality is better and it's got the 6-point harness, which most Chinese masks prior to this one don't have. You know, they have the, like the MS-14 ones up there. Okay. Like this MF14, they've got the 5-strap system, which just is not as comfortable. I don't really mind 5 straps, but it's definitely not as good. Sometimes as well with these, I find this bit digs quite in with the MF14 style design. Like the actual buckle kind of digs into your head. But like I said, the MF14 still works and is a good mask. But yeah, this is a lot more limiting on field of view, the MF14. Especially looking downwards. You can see a hell of a lot less looking downwards. Like I said, the MF14 is alright. It's certainly not a bad mask, especially if you get one like this. Some of the export models take NATO filters, which is good. So you can actually fit, you know, proper NATO filters to them. But they're just very, very kind of simple panoramic masks. Trying to remember if it's actually got a voice diaphragm in it or not. If I hold it up to the light, can I see if... So I'm not sure if that kind of like metal bit over the intake, if that's just to protect the intake valve, or if that has anything to do with a voice diaphragm type system. So that's, but yeah, I can't actually remember. If I take this bottom bit off, if it comes off easy. Might not. Yeah, that bottom bit's attached quite robustly. Ah, yeah, no, I can see light through the cover here. So yeah, there is a voice diaphragm in this. Yeah, because so the MF14 does have a voice diaphragm. Yeah, in that bit, yeah. No, I've used 76. The rebreathers from, like, you know, the military rebreathers, which again are not something you should really mess about with unless you know what you're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. The rebreathers, you know, can suffocate people quite easily, because the thing is with a rebreather is obviously you're not aware of carbon dioxide building up because of how they work. Let me, on the pop-out chat, Google that. I don't know without looking is the answer to that. So... Soy Chuang, or however it's pronounced first. If I just search Soy Chang mask, will it come up in Google Images? No, don't show me what you think I'm searching for. Okay, one of the ones coming up is basically that one I was using earlier in the video. The one with the funny thing, but a different valve set up on it. I'm just looking at some of the various things. So they do some... I've used one of the ones coming up that's like a half-face one with the filters. I've used that one. I think you might have even sent me one of those during COVID. That was quite good, with the replaceable filters. What was the... Let's try the other one. Haigu. But no, I don't think I've ever had a Haigu one, because some of those coming up actually look quite good. And Google's saying, did you mean hair mask? No, I don't. But the Haigu one looks quite nice. Because one of those coming up is, again, one of those sort of very, very similar, actually, to that one I was just showing. This one, I think. Yeah. So one of the Haigu ones looks very, very similar to this coming up. Yeah, I think the older variant of this I have is like the Haigu one, looking at that. Although the Haigu one has a longer filter intake and a branded bit under there rather than the plain bit under there. But yeah, otherwise the strap layout and everything looks the same. But there's obviously a few different Haigu masks coming up, so some of those look quite interesting, but yeah. It's hard to know with, like I said, with some of them, because a lot of the time when I get the Chinese masks off of AliExpress or whatever, I have no clue what company made them, because they're in that very generic sort of packaging. Sometimes they're just in cardboard boxes, and they're in like a plastic or orange or black, like drawstring sort of bag thing. Madeinchina.com. Assuming this is, so does it say on here, this is the thing I'm wondering, if, who makes some of the various masks? Because obviously I found ones on here that probably are the Haigu ones, but does it specify? Oh yeah, Haigu Safety Protection Technology. Oh, they do the fucking 3M same thing now as well, with a blanking port on them. No, I'll have to look that up, but yeah, funnily enough, look. Ah, that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't actually find butyl upsetting to my skin or whatever. I actually find it's pretty similar to silicone, you know, in terms of comfort for me. So yeah, for me, I just go for butyl regardless, because I'm not going to find it any really more comfortable than silicone. But Right, it's the electronic guy, but yeah, funnily enough, look, they do the same fucking thing with the blanking plug and the 3M style design as well on their one. But let me look up the Wilcox Patriot. Oh, is that like a firefighter style mask? Because most of the pictures coming up, if I search Wilcox Patriot, are like scuba tank style design ones, or might be rebreathers. I'm not sure from the pictures because they're not very high res. There's somewhere it's connected to a GSR. Weirdly enough, I found a picture of it connected to the GSR. So I'm assuming is it the actual backpack piece is the Patriot, so it's not actually a mask itself. It's the Wilcox Patriot 5510. So it's a CBRN air supply system, is it? But yeah, that looks fairly good. I'm assuming that's either a rebreather system, is it, or a just a simple air in, air out one. Yeah, because on the pictures I can see where it's attached. It's using a single filter port, and there's not an air out kind of thing. Yeah, self-contained breathing respirator. Yeah, so with the person bringing up the Wilcox Patriot, look, here's it on a good old FM12, and that is the FM12. I'm pretty sure based on the position of the drinking tube bit. Yeah, that's an FM12 because the drinking tube bit's right up there. Although they've got a different thing on the plastic housing for the nose cup on that one. Not nose cup, but the whatever you want to call the like valve, you know, the little valve front bit you can take off and clean the voice drum bit. Oh, the link is too long and it won't let me post it, for fuck's sake. Why does S6 cost a lot? Because the S6 is an out of production mask that's famous. Let's see if I can shorten the URL. No, I can't, annoyingly. Can I get this image up as a shorter URL by getting it up by cutting some of the bits off the URL? If that makes sense, what I'm trying to do. Let me just go to the fucking Reddit post it's attached to and just see if oh, it's actually Bot Stowo, or however you say his name, that did this. That's cool. Who I've done a couple of videos with. Right, is this a shorter link now? No, it's still too long for Reddit. I'm just going to link to Bots' post. There we go, Lightbox. Shit, where have I closed my bloody... I've closed my pop-out chat menu thing, haven't I? There we go. But yeah, so, yeah, the Wilcox Patriot looks cool. Is thing like we were saying about that. All-time favourite. Again, I'm an absolute sucker for the CT12, but I don't have it handy. So the Avon CT12 is just the FM12 without the drinking tube system. What is my least favourite? My least favourite is that Chinese pewter mask. Even though I've got a mask now, I'll be doing a video on that's like the pewter mask, but good. My least favourite is the... So yeah, my absolute least favourite mask is the pewter type mask I had before that's a bit like an MF14 style mask, but it wasn't the MF14, but it's a similar looking thing. And if you watch my video on it, the problem with that, it had two major problems. First, the strap attachment system was completely fucking stupid. That would be illegal for me to buy at McDouble, so the answer is no, because it's protected by ITAR. So... How the pewter, if I use the MF14 to demonstrate. So it had a similar buckle system to this, but how the buckle bits attached meant that these bits kept coming off. Because basically the friction of tightening the strap also meant that there was more friction on the bit. So you know how most systems, the more friction there is, the more it keeps something in place. It was kind of the inverse of that. So if you tighten straps more, it would actually make the thing more prone to just pinging off the mask. Because basically it was just pulling a bit of metal against a tiny little plastic ridge. So obviously the more you tightened it, the more pressure... And now that's all right. Again, I don't really have the money to buy shit like that at the moment. I say that, but yeah, I shouldn't really, because again, I've got so much crap in here. But thank you for the offer. So anyway, that was the first issue with it. That, you know, it had these crappy, like, connectors there. And yeah, the second problem was because it was made from such thin rubber, when you had the weight of a filter on it, it would basically do that on itself. The weight of the filter would physically bend the mask because they'd made the mask out of such a, again, it was a very, very comfortable rubber, but it was so, oh, hello, Andy. Andy says, watching your chat, my commandant. Hello, Andy from work. Yeah, the problem with the pewter, yeah, but going back, in terms of comfort for me, again, this fucker, because this fucking guy, I'll demonstrate this now, fits my face without me tightening the straps. On both the Fushidas I've had, I'll try and demonstrate this. So without tightening the straps at all, if I put on my chin like that, it basically cups right into my chin with like no force. So because I've not got the straps done up, it will eventually come away from my chin. But the point I'm making is sort of, it fits my chin so well that without even tightening the straps on the Fushida, it actually chin welds to my face. So now that is just such a comfy thing. But the problem with this mask is there's no bloody voice diaphragm on it because the Swedes didn't put one in it. So this mask is otherwise perfect for me. You know, again, a more modern panoramic one might be nice. But yeah, the Swedes made this thing, which is kind of like the S10, but better when they designed it in the 90s. But they didn't put a bloody voice diaphragm in it. Because under here, it's just a big exhale valve. There's like barely anything under it. So yeah. But in terms of comfort, yeah, this thing, because of just how nice this seals to my chin. That's weird. It might be because I was just talking louder anyway, just straight into the camera. But yeah, this doesn't have a voice diaphragm at all. This mask is literally just an exhale valve directly onto a bit of plastic. Now, what is interesting with this, I don't know if this is where they injection molded it or it's to do with something else. But there is actually a rubber stopper thing, look, in the bottom of the mask, which I guess could kind of work like a sweat drainage hole, but I've always wondered what these rubber stoppers were for in the bottom of the mask. Like plastic stoppers, sorry, in the rubber. Again, it's not in a position where it's going to be uncomfortable at all, because it's underneath all of the like assembly bit at the front. I just find that weird that these always have these like almost like a drain plug in the bottom of them. But yeah, like I said, the Swedish Fushidas I think are, like, for me, is the most comfortable mask ever. At 1.76, because they were just way cheaper than other bits of military surplus. So at one point, and this is going back before COVID, when the prices went to absolute fucking bollocks on everything, is you could get a lot of the gas masks, like you could get with their like satchel bags and everything else, you could get those for about often like 20 to 30 pounds each in the UK. So basically, if it was 20 pounds, say $30, for example. So, you know, you could get the mask, you could get the accessories, you could get the satchel pretty much unissued for that price, you know, but that was prior to COVID. Now they're generally a lot more. At the moment on eBay, there's a £900 mask, which is a British nuclear test mask. It's the fucking unicorn version of the light anti-gas respirator. I did send Hyperthing where the filter actually attaches to your head there. And that was specifically like so the fallout dust would collect more in the filter so they could, you know, like dissect the filters later to see what, you know, like nuclear particles, like, you know, strontium-90 and stuff like that, what actually ended up in the filter and the fallout dust. So that's why they were designed like that. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting. There's one for sale on eBay, but I'm not paying £900 for a 1950s rubber mask. Yeah, it's probably something like that, Hype. It's probably, yeah, like a proper stopper that's really hard to get out and makes a very good seal. But yeah, you can remove it for when you're completely cleaning down the mask. But yeah, if you ever watch the British nuclear test films from Australia and like Christmas Island, you'll see the guys with those big light anti-gas respirators on their head. And yeah, it was specifically because I think they gave them a specific, it's like a specially made filter that was, you know, one that was, so I think it was like a really big flat filter as well, rather than it being like a standard filter canister. And the point was, yeah, so you'd get, like, it would actually protect the guy wearing the mask from the fallout, but specifically when they took the mask off and handed them in, they could, you know, the labs could pick apart the filters and look at what kind of stuff was in there. Because, again, funnily enough, it was one of those tests where Britain accidentally made some cobalt-60 during one of the nuclear tests, where I think there was cobalt-59 casings that were used as tracers for like the high-speed cameras. So, you know, they could see where bits shot off from the bomb. And then it turned out, oh yeah, we made some cobalt-60. Apparently at the time, that because there was such little amount of cobalt-60, it wasn't considered really, really scary, you know, because they put shitloads of other nuclear fallout everywhere during those tests. Yeah, I think it was the Soviets that then realized when they did a test that, you know, you could make a doomsday device using a salted cobalt bomb because of just how scary cobalt-60 is on its own. But yeah, Britain kind of just blundered into it, and then we didn't think twice about it. Oh, that's really radioactive compared to everything else. Moving on. But yeah, cobalt-60 is always interesting just because, yeah, a single gram giving off 1 million Rontgen per hour, it's kind of a, you know, interesting thing. Anyway, I will be off fairly soon because, like I said, I already did a video earlier today, so I want to, you know, just relax now. Most of my mates that have been on a 9-to-5 shift normally get home and have dinner about now, so I might be able to play some video games. Otherwise, it's Russia's Victory Day parade tomorrow, so you know what that means. Yeah, cheers, Rajiv. Being Victory Day tomorrow, and Russia said, can we have a ceasefire for Victory Day? And Ukraine said no. It might be quite an interesting parade, depending on what happens. Because, again, it might be that Ukraine doesn't target the parade at all, but because they put stuff, yeah, VE Day for us today, but we had the parade on Monday, didn't we, for VE Day? It might be that because they're worried about them doing something in Moscow, they pull air defenses away from other places, and then some important factories or refineries blow up again. Because Russia lost its only fiber optic factory the other day because of what air defense doing. But yeah, anyway, have a good day, everybody. Like I said, I need to get another video done on one of those Chinese masks. So I've still got 2 masks to technically review, plus the PAPR unit. So the one, I'll probably end up doing the video tomorrow on the other version of the TF1 or whatever it is, or the, you know, type, was it type 59, type 57, whatever the GP5 looking Shum 41 thing is the Chinese have, the modern ones. I know there's a few different variants. It's not the one with the see-through plastic. But again, yeah, have a good evening, everybody. See you all, and don't forget to like the stream on your way out. And again, a massive thank you. I'm going to go and look up the person's name specifically before I go off so I can thank them. The Abyss Janitor, again, thank you for your Canadian dollars. I appreciate it because, yeah, 4 filters or whatever other milsurp stuff. But yeah, thank you, because that is actually enough money to have paid for one of these gas masks entirely, one of the cheapo Chinese ones, to do a review on it. So that's good, because you've given me enough money that, you know, I've regen the money back from one of those masks now. So I can do a video on it, tell people if it's good or bad, and I'm not out of pocket for it, which is great. So again, thank you very much, but I'm going to have to glue that one before I, you know, going to get some plastic glue and glue that one. I'll probably do a video on that saying if you get one of these, you might want to do this. Because otherwise, it's actually quite a good mask. It's just, yeah, that bit for easy factory assembly and that isn't great if you're putting a tight fitting filter in, because again, the filter can unscrew the bit from the mask. You know, it's, the tolerances are about the same. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. I'm going to keep on rambling. Have a good evening.